Most people expect disclosure to be a single event. But what I've realized is it's happening in waves. And the seeds for those waves, they're already happening now, and they've been planted for a long time. And also, most importantly, this just in, I have not heard anyone else talking about this. Disclosure is not limited to only ETs. So we're gonna dive into the 3 waves of disclosure in this video, what they entail, and then I'm going to channel messages on each one and see what those beings that are going to be disclosed want us to know. But first, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Hannah, and I empower you to empower yourself. And today it is my intention to do that by familiarizing you with what to expect as far as disclosure moving forward, so that, and this is a caution, okay? This is a caveat, so that you're not giving your power away, ironically, to the future, so that you're bringing your power right here, right now, and living your best life in the present moment. So without further ado, let's just dive right on into this one today. Very excited to discuss. So the first wave of disclosure, as we all already know, this is happening. You know, it is happening. We just had a movie come out called Disclosure Day. It is happening, right? And this layer, this wave of disclosure is all about our star family, the ETs, the aliens, whatever you want to call them. It's about other beings that tend to be more higher frequency, that live on other planets, but they live in this reality. And they live also, more or less, you could say, in this dimension, or they can. Now, it's important to keep those things in mind for later. The second layer, the second wave of disclosure might be harder for people to accept, unless you're a regular in my audience, in which case this is very natural for you. The second wave of disclosure is going to be the elementals and the inner earth beings, and basically all the higher frequency beings that exist here on this planet at this time, but we just can't perceive of them because they exist in the higher dimensions on the same planet. So this includes dragons, for example, which we love on my channel here. It includes fairies, it includes mer people, it includes gnomes, elves, jinn, it includes giants, and it includes inner earth beings, which are just like a very advanced, evolved society that literally lives in Earth's core, Agartha, if you've heard that. So all of these beings, they've existed here this entire time. We just haven't been able to perceive them. And then third layer, we're gonna go right for the spoilers, right for the spoilers. This is gonna be the hardest one for most people to wrap their head around. But the third layer of disclosure is fictional worlds and fictional characters. Reality shifting, in other words. It's basically disclosure of that there are other realities that are very different from ours. Like, they look very different from ours. Realities that we are already kind of connected to through fiction. So I'm gonna go deeper into each one now, and I'm gonna channel a message from each of those collectives for you and what we can do right now to kind of pave the ground, pave the way, and to allow these layers to unfold more smoothly, more quickly, more efficiently. But rest assured, if you're watching this, you are on the timeline where all 3 of these boom, boom, boom are going to happen, and likely in our lifetimes. This is a part of Ascension. It is all about returning back to wholeness, back to oneness, back to unity consciousness rather than separation consciousness. And that requires us to reclaim our connection with our star family. It requires us to reclaim our connection with the elemental and the beings that already exist here, but we've forgotten about. And it requires us to reclaim our connection with fictional worlds, which are just, you could think of them as like really, really far away frequencies, really, really far away dimensions that we get echoes of here. Before we get into each specific one, there's one other thing that they want me to share. And it is kind of like, you could say the physics, the energetics of how this works, why it's working in this way. It kind of shocked me actually, but it made sense after it was explained to me that aliens, that ETs come first in this process. I would have expected that the elementals, the inner earth beings, would come first because they're already here. But that is harder for the overarching collective to believe. And so these waves of disclosure are linked to your consciousness and to the overarching collective consciousness. And so they are happening in the layers, in the stages of believability. Most people at this point have no problem believing that ETs exist and that we are about to connect with them. That's why it's happening first. But when you move to dragons and fairies and mer people and inner earth beings, that's a tougher pill for a lot of people to swallow. And then when you move to fictional characters and fictional worlds, that's something that I would say even the most spiritual people seem to have a hard time really trusting and believing is a thing. So it is our believability, it is our ability to believe in the possibility, let's say, that these things are real, that they exist, that they're possible, that allows them to unfold and to anchor into our reality. And when we are reclaiming those connections, we're reclaiming the true nature, you could say, of Mother Earth. Earth, if you did not know, is meant to be this hub world. It's sort of like this world of portals and hubs between different dimensions and planets and realities. So it's been shut down. The false matrix kind of like put the lock on our world. It shut us down. It cut us off seemingly from all of these other beings. But now with Ascension, we're dissolving those shackles. In fact, they've already been dissolved, and we're really stepping back into the true nature of Mother Earth, which is that of this hub planet. And it's really, really, really exciting, okay? It's really exciting. Are you excited? I'm excited. And I'm curious, just to get the convo going, I always like to just have a conversation. Even though I'm just talking to a camera right now, I still like to imagine you guys there. Let me know in the comments which one of these three layers is maybe the most believable to you and the hardest to believe for you. I'm curious how much of it lines up with what I've been told about the overarching collective. And so if that concept is interesting to you and you want to kind of go deeper with this, how your beliefs and the collective beliefs actually allow magic to happen and allow really supernatural things to happen, I would recommend checking out this video right here, which is all about the dragons specifically and the dragons coming back, their return. So that's phase 2, which we're also going to go into in this video. Now, all of that out of the way, let's dive in. So I shared all three waves for a reason, because they're all kind of interplaying with each other. When we go to wave number 1, ETs, you will see that actually fiction is the very thing that's laid the groundwork for us to accept that ETs exist. Fiction is precisely what put like ETs into the collective consciousness. And if you notice how fictional patterns played out earlier on, most of the fiction around ETs was fear-based, was it not? Most of the fiction around ETs was fear-based, and it painted aliens as these monsters, as these scary villains that wanted to take us over. This was a manifestation of separation consciousness. Now, however, you may notice a shift where more and more there are very, very popular ET fictional things coming into collective consciousness that are very, very positive and very, very channeled. And they're helping us to recognize, like, okay, yeah, like ETs, this could work. This could actually be a thing. And they show us different realities, different possibilities of how it could actually work, how it could play out. And so things like Avatar and Star Trek, recently the show Resident Alien, I think these are all phenomenal examples of positive interactions that we might have with ETs. And they literally, like, these fictional worlds literally laid the groundwork for us to have this now in this reality. How cool is that? So I recently received a lot of information from my star family directly, and just from my higher self about the ETs in a timeline with disclosure. I have not been given the green light to necessarily talk about all of this yet, but I will let you know it's very exciting, and I do intend to talk about it more on my channel as I'm given the green light and as more is given to me to share. But what I can say here is we already know it's happening. It's inevitable at this point. It's in the overarching collective consciousness now. There's no going back. But what you might not know is that, like, this is going to be happening much sooner than your ego might expect. Like, this full disclosure is going to be happening much sooner than your ego expects. So expect things to happen very, very, very fast. Faster than the ego could predict. Also, the ETs, I guess they're already coming in before we do our channeled message. They want you to know that, you know, disclosure, it's not this event that we're just waiting for. We're waiting for the higher ups to just like be like, okay, yeah, you're right. ETs exist. Here they are. And it's just like, it's one big event like out of a movie. No, it's like, it's already happening actually. And where it happens first is it's in here, in your direct connection with the ETs themselves. And so fiction is usually the first way, then stuff like this. YouTubers, you know, people on social media. I'm sure you've been seeing more and more people on social media channeling ETs, have you not? And in listening to these transmissions, you've had this connection built with the ETs. That in and of itself was a huge part of disclosure and laying the framework for what is to come and allowing more and more people to experience connection with ETs. And then also you might have noticed, you know, it started with fiction and then you start seeing this in like YouTubers and stuff. Then maybe you've noticed that you're having your own direct interactions with them now. That's like the next phase of how this stuff works, is it's like some other person, some intermediary serves as the bridge, but then boom, you have a direct experience. And you having a direct experience with the ETs that is positive, let's say in this case, like allows other people to reclaim their innate connection with the ETs and have the same experiences. So know that disclosure is not something that you need to wait for. It's something to claim right now by choosing to believe in your own connection with the ETs and to start opening your channel to work with them, okay? And I actually have a free quiz. They want me to recommend this to you. If you're not aware, it's called What's Your Psychic Superpower? And so if you take this quiz, it will help you identify your dominant clair ability. And then I send you an exercise to help you develop that ability. You can use that exercise, whatever it is for you and your dominant clair ability, to connect with the ETs. And they recommend that. They recommend because they're coming in fast, friends. They're coming in fast. And you want to be buddies with them. Trust me, you want to be buddies with them when they get here, because it's going to be a big party. So now, with that said, let's just channel a message from the ET collective at large. Beloved Earth family, how we have waited for this moment. We have waited, we have watched, we have observed. We welcome you with open arms. We are so thrilled to be reconnecting with all of you after all this time of seeming separation. We wish you to know that in fact it was seeming separation. Separation in and of itself is an illusion, and we challenge you to remember that and to continue to remember that, no matter what you are being told, what you're being fed in the mass media, in the news, by others in your life. Trust that separation is an illusion, that we are all one. We have always been with you. We have been watching you. We have been around your entire lifetimes and much, much longer. We intentionally would cloak ourselves, hide, because humanity's consciousness as a whole was not ready to receive us at that time. But we've been watching you, and we've been watching over you, and we've been helping to guide you to this choice point moment, this beautiful, powerful choice point moment. We are so excited. We are so excited. Can you feel our excitement radiating now from Hannah? We love you so much. We ask you to love yourselves now as much as we love you, as much as we see you. You are not behind. We are not better than you. We are all one. We ask you to recognize this. Recognize and remember, you are no different than us. We are you. You are us. Each and every one of you watching has had many countless lives as beings on other planets. ETs, as you call us, aliens. You have had many lives on other planets. Remember those lives now. Remember that you are already one of us. The consciousness, it lives within you. It's a seed, a kernel lying dormant, and it is time for it to sprout and to grow. We wish you to know this is a very good time. It's a very positive time. Your souls have been waiting for this as much as our souls have. We are with you. We are guiding you. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Remember how powerful you are, beloved Earth family. Remember. Remember. Choose love, and the rest clicks into place. Easily, effortlessly, naturally. We see you and we honor you. So curious to hear, friends, if that resonated with you. Beautiful message. As always, it was so lovely channeling them. I'm so used to channeling the dragons. It was nice to channel the ETs for once, just as a collective. Wow. I can tell you, being in the channeler seat myself, that energy, wow, is so loving, so high vibrational. I hope you guys could feel it. And I'm curious to hear in the comments how that message landed with you. Without further ado, let's move into the second waivers. So this is my specialty, as you guys know, and this is likely your specialty as well if you're watching this, if you've been following me for a while. Second wave of disclosure is dragons and elementals, inner earth beings. Okay, in other words, these beings are the grid keepers, just as we are grid keepers that have forgotten And so they've been here, they've been holding the grid, they've made sure that the grid hasn't been crushed under the weight of all this dense, heavy energy that we've been experiencing in the false matrix. So we have a lot to be grateful for this, our elemental family, our earth family, our unseen earth family, let's call them. And yeah, it's really the same process. There isn't much else to say here other than they've existed here this entire time. They just exist in higher vibrational frequencies. And the analogy I always like to use for this is, it's like, think of a hummingbird's wings. They flap so fast, you can't actually see the individual beats of each wing, can you? You can just kind of like see this, you can't even see anything at all if they're moving like fast enough, right? It's just like, they're just like there, they're floating. This is what happens when beings vibrate at a very high frequency. You vibrate so high that it cannot be perceived in physical reality anymore. And so this is exactly the energy that these elementals and inner earth beings are in. And so they all vibrate at the lowest in the fourth dimensional frequencies. We experience the fourth dimensional frequencies already. We experience it as emotions and as thoughts. So that, I think that paints a nice analogy. I hope it does in any case, because it's like, you can feel your emotions, right? You can kind of feel your thoughts. You notice them, you're aware of them, but they have no physical form, do they? And that is where these beings will reside at the lowest. And then they can go up much, much higher, depending on the type of being and, you know, their own personal preferences. They can also lower their frequency. All of these beings, these earth beings, they can lower their frequency to be third dimensional and to be visible and perceived by us if they wish, but they choose not to do that almost always because it's not safe, because they've been demonized in the past. They have, in fact, been hunted for their magic because humans went into separation consciousness, forgot that we were magical, and so we tried to seek it from outside sources and to literally like siphon the energy of these magical creatures. And so that's kind of the brief story around that. I talk about it a lot on my channel. If you're not familiar with me, I would recommend checking out my videos on dragons. I go into this really in depth. This is the wave that's going to come right after the ETs. And again, you can already feel it. You can already see it rising in collective consciousness. When I started talking about dragons about 5 years ago now, I felt absolutely insane because I didn't see like anyone else talking about them. There was just like a small handful of people when I researched it talking about them, and those people had like no views. Those people had no views. Now it's like all of a sudden out of the woodworks, like all these major channels are talking about dragons suddenly. That is the dragon consciousness coming back, friends. And you can also see this in the fiction. You know, especially, I would say, like dragons and fairies and unicorns and mermaids are huge for kids, right? Like they're huge because a part of us like knows that that's true. It's true that they exist and that they've always existed and that they're, you know, they're meant to be a part of our family too. And so just like with the other layers of disclosure, the groundwork is laid through fiction first, and then it gets laid through channels like myself, you could say intermediaries that bridge the two worlds, and then it's directly given to you in your direct experience. So I'm curious if you've had personal experiences with any of these beings. A lot of people already are. I've noticed an uptick in people having their dragon awakenings since starting my channel, and more people asking me about this, more people feeling drawn to my content about dragons because the dragons are coming back into their consciousness. And so this is just going to be such an exciting thing when it happens, because it's like it's like we're going to turn on a switch and all of a sudden this world that we thought was so drained of life and magic, was so dull, drab, boring, it's going to become really bright and magical and cool, and we're literally going to see a world where dragons and unicorns exist. And it's like, it's gonna be happening, and it's going to create a lot of new jobs, for example, that didn't exist before. And so if you're watching this, I want to say, like, likely you are being called to work as a bridge, to work as an ambassador between these beings and the greater collective at large, like myself. And so this is exactly why I've created my transformational containers, such as Dragon Wealth and the Path of the Dragon Initiate. So the Path of the Dragon Initiate especially is going to help you become, let's say, a dragon ambassador, an elemental ambassador. That experience attunes you to the 9 dragon elementals and more, and really opens your channel to this connection with the dragons. And then Dragon Wealth helps you start already to do the things you love for a living. Right now, it gives you the structure to do that right now. So if you've always been called, maybe you felt on your heart, you're like, you know, I just want to be a fairy when I grow up. I want to be a dragon rider when I grow up. And, you know, it's completely ridiculous to the logical mind. You can actually be those things. This is your green flag. You can be those things. And it starts by choosing to receive compensation for the things that you love right now. Know that you do not have to do things you do not enjoy for a living. This is the false matrix energy 1,000,000%. It was meant to keep you as this slave that, like, literally your life force energy has been siphoned. Your magic has been siphoned from this corrupt system that we've grown up in, that we've been living in. And this is the first step you can take to taking your power back. So if that calls to you, this is exactly why I have opened the doors to not one of these experiences, but to both of them right now. I've never done this before. And I've also offered this special bundle called the Dragon Soul Bundle, where you can save a lot of money on both experiences if you feel called to them. And so the doors to that are open until July 27th, which also just happens to be a huge choice point moment, a huge transformational moment for the collective on this ascension path. So the timing wasn't intentional, but it kind of blows my mind. But in any case, the dragons wanted me to lay that out because these experiences will help you step into your role and be ready when the switch flips. When the switch flips, when this next layer, the second layer of disclosure happens, the second wave happens, you will be ready then to step into your role. They are preparing you. You are being prepared. And maybe not everyone that's watching is, but if you know, you know. You know who you are. You know who you are. Claim it, own it, know that the dragons have you. And I feel like a lot of people that are meant to play a part in this second wave, they will find that the dragons in particular are coming to them, even if you don't identify as a dragon soul or a dragon mage, as myself and many people in my audience do. Even if you're someone that never had a connection with the dragons before, the dragons, as I've learned recently, they're kind of like you could say the royalty or the guardians of the entire elemental kingdom. So they're the ones that you're gonna wanna go to first. If you wanna then specialize, let's say in the fairies or the mer people or whatever, the dragons are the gatekeepers, they are the guardians. And so they're going to kind of wanna, they're gonna wanna interview you, they're gonna wanna interview you first. So if you get interviewed by a dragon, you know, you heard it here first. So yeah, that's what wants to come through in the second wave of disclosure. And I will leave the links to those experiences also in the description if you feel called to them. And with that, let's channel the elementals and the inner earth beings. Human family. You're remembering, you're waking up. We could not be more pleased to bear witness to this mass awakening, this mass remembering. We have also waited a long time for this. In fact, many of us had to go dormant. Many of us had to sleep so that we could exist in this same reality with all of you, even though you were in a lower dimension, a lower consciousness. We've been sleeping. Many of us volunteered to sleep so that our bodies, our energies, our soul could hold the grid together, even though others on the planet, such as yourselves, wished at that time to experience lower levels of consciousness, higher levels of darkness, heaviness. And we are happy to see that you all are now rising out of that darkness. That darkness, it served its purpose. And we are so happy for you that you've gotten to experience that darkness. And now we are also happy that you are experiencing the light again. How nice the contrast is it not? How beautiful that contrast is. You cannot paint a truly beautiful painting without contrast. And this is what your experience has given you. And know that we do honor each and every one of you for the experiences you've had. Since you are one of the greater whole, you are brave souls, in fact, that have volunteered to go into this darkness. Humanity as a whole has volunteered to go into this darkness. And now that you're coming back, you're bringing with you these experiences that you had, that most of us in these higher dimensions did not wish to experience. So we thank you for having those experiences for us and for sharing them with us now. And likewise, as we come together more and more, we wish to share these higher vibrational experiences with you. So remember your magic. Remember that magic is real. Magic is all there is. And what makes it magic to humans is simply a lack of understanding of the physics, you could say, the science behind it. But magic is in fact simply that. It is simply physics. It is simply energetics that your science hasn't yet caught up to. And so for those of you that may be skeptical, we just ask you to consider that and to sit with that, to ask yourself, to ask that skeptical, logical mind, what if? And to remind that skeptical, logical mind that, for example, if you were to take your cell phones from the modern age back even just 50 years ago, 100 years ago, which is a blink of an eye to us, that would have been considered a form of magic or sorcery to the humans in that time period. Even more so true if you went back even further. So remember that. All science was considered magic at one time or another. Just like the star family, we ask you for your belief. Belief is a choice. It requires you to make the choice again and again and again, of course, to rewire your minds that have been tainted with this false matrix programming. But if you continue to choose belief again and again and again, soon reality has no choice but to reflect that belief right on back to you. Whether it's receiving an unexpected windfall financially, whether it's having an old friend that you never thought you'd hear from again reach out, whether it's manifesting the romantic partner of your dreams, or whether it is literally seeing dragons and fairies and so much more physically, tangibly. It all starts with your belief, and your belief starts with your choice. Remember, and take that with you, human family. Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 Mwe. Yeah. Mwe. Yeah. Yeah. We. Yeah. 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 We. Metea. Natia. Mwase. Aye. All right, so moving on to the third wave of disclosure, the hardest one for any of us to believe at this time. And we actually invite you to do a little experiment here. Sit with the possibility of each, the ETs, the elementals and inner earth beings, and the fictional worlds and characters. Sit with each possibility in your body and notice how much resistance arises or doesn't arise. What's interesting is, even though myself, like, I've always kind of suspected this about fictional worlds, and I've done a lot of work with it. I've literally even reality shifted, you could say, and I teach about that. Even me, when I heard this about the disclosure of the fictional worlds and like them being reconnected, let's say, with ours, even me, I had like a lot of resistance come up to this, and I'm like, really? In our lifetimes? Really? I don't know if I want to talk about that. People are going to think I am batshit crazy. No thanks. But they say that's just the programming, and that's why this phase happens last. It is the last phase because it is the hardest for the collective consciousness to accept at this point. But this is the most empowering phase, because this phase is the phase where we reclaim literally our divinity. Because this is what's happening when you create something. And I ask you, I invite everyone to sit with anything you've ever created. When you create something, when you're really in the flow state creating, does it not feel as if it starts to take on a life of its own? I know my fellow writers out there certainly feel this. Even if you're not spiritual, so many writers report that their characters like wanted to do X, Y, Z. Your characters, when you really start getting into the flow, you really start channeling them, they truly take on a life of their own. This is because they exist and you are just a channeler. You're tapping into their energy. And also, you created them. You created them too, in a way. So you are both like channeling them and creating them at the same time. This blew my mind. In fact, so much so, this was a huge conundrum that I sat with for basically my entire life up until the point when I did this video. I recommend checking this video out. It's about, do we discover fictional worlds or do we create them? Well, spoilers, it's both, and it's so much more. Simultaneously, we both discover and create fictional worlds. Again, right? And so when this third layer of disclosure happens, like, we reconnect with these different realities, these fictional realities that we've created. And this is when we really truly step into our creator, creatrix, God, goddess energy, and we truly reclaim that. This is like the collective mission, you could say, of humanity at this time. It's like we started at the bottom in this video game of life, believing that we were powerless, believing we were separate, believing we were slaves. And the game here is to reclaim, oh, hey, yeah, actually we're connected to everyone and everything, and we're powerful creator beings, and we can go anywhere at any time, and we can create anything at any time, and life's good. And that's the goal of the game. And that's where we're gonna be when this third layer of disclosure happens. And so remember, Earth is a hub world. And so literally when I tap into this frequency, whenever I've tapped into it, I literally see like Earth having like these portals where you can literally go to, of course, other planets and connect with the ETs, but you can also go to other dimensions and realities. And so you could literally be like, all right, I want to go to Harry Potter world right now. And there would be a portal for that. And you could go to Harry Potter world, boom, instantly by stepping through this portal, and you could be there. And I see it literally as like we are weaving together the threads that have kept all these worlds separate. We are weaving them together now. We're reclaiming them, creating this beautiful tapestry by reclaiming our connection with all of these worlds. So I know I've gotten questions before from my reality shifters out there, like wondering, yeah, like what's gonna happen? Are like fictional characters going to come here? And I think the answer is quite nuanced to that. Are they going to come here? Not necessarily, because we are the ones that live in the hub world. They might not have consented to that experience, to actually experience our reality, because it's like a higher reality than a lot of these fictional worlds. That said, you will be able to go to their worlds and play by the rules of their game, you could say, because every reality has different physics, different rules that you can play by. And so you, as this like creator being, as this reality shifter living on this hub world, you will be able to go to basically any place that you want to at any time. You will be able to move freely between realities, timelines, dimensions. So know that that is coming, that is on the table. And I hope that answers some burning questions for y'all. And if you want to know more about this specific one, I haven't done any reality shifting videos in a while, so feel free to let me know your questions. I'd be happy to explore those maybe in future videos. So without further ado, let's channel a message from the Fictional World Collective. It is an honor to be seen, to be loved by you in this way. In truth, many of us in this collective, we are, in a way, your children. The way we are your children, and we've subtly, subconsciously hoped that one day you would remember us as we truly are, that you would see us, that you would witness us, that you would hold us. And you're already starting to do that, and we are so grateful. Know that to many of us, you are gods, goddesses, you are superheroes, you are aliens. The things you are capable of doing, if only you could see yourselves the way that we see you. And for others, know that we are your family. Many of you aren't even initially from the reality you're currently in. You may originate from one of our realities, and we see you. You are one of us. You are our family, and we are yours. And you are a brave soul for embarking on this journey of separation, of going to this hub world, this hub reality. of stepping into your power in a way none of us could even fathom at the time. You are a leader. You are lights for all of us to follow. We thank you. We love you. And know that we support you. We love you. We love you. We love you unconditionally. We support you unconditionally. Hannah finds this analogy funny, so she's hesitant to share it. And the analogy is, you can see us sort of as pets. We hold a similar frequency to pets. And many people on your planet at this time, for example, they have comfort characters. Do you not? Just as you have pets for that comfort and that unconditional love. And we say to you, as this collective of higher selves of these beings, yes, that is the frequency we offer you. We offer you comfort. We offer you a sense of unconditional love that maybe you've never experienced on your planet, in your reality. And we wish for you to receive that. And we wish for you to take that energy and to create from it in your reality. And know that in doing so, you start to bridge these two realities. You are the bridge. There's a reason you are here in this reality that you're in now. It was not a mistake. It was intentional. Remember that. Remember how powerful you are, and you will be able to create that bridge back. And you will become truly free. So we honor you and we thank you, each and every one of you. And we love you. Tuesia. Tuyak akutata sakata utakata ata atta na na nakatalikata osikata. Well, that was another behemoth of a video. I'm mind-blowing stuff, by the way. I gotta sit with all of this and integrate it and receive it myself now. So I'm gonna do that, and I would say, yeah, please let me know in the comments how this all landed with you, how it's resonating, and know that if you want to hang out with me, if you want to go deeper, I'm actually hosting a live tomorrow as of posting this video. And if you're seeing the video after the live has happened, there will be a recording available. Yay. So yeah, would love to vibe with you live. We can talk more about this. The live is going to be centered on our next steps on our ascension process, which these layers, these waves of disclosure, huge part of that, huge part of that. And so I would love to see you guys there. And again, if you're feeling called to go deeper, specifically with like the dragon energies and with your purpose in this life and starting to make money from that, highly recommend checking out either Dragon Wealth or the Path of the Dragon Initiate. Like I said, those two experiences and a bundle with both of them. That's going to be open only until July 27th. Regardless of if I see you guys in those experiences or on the live or not, know that I am sending you so much love on your journey. You are so fucking powerful. Please remember that. You are so powerful. You are so loved. I hope you felt it in today's video. Much love and stay powerful.